Hi guys, it's Han here. Today we are going to check out the plug-in hybrid version of RX new Lexus RX 450h Plus. Thanks to friends' help, thanks for subscribing, liking, commenting, forwarding, and lighting up the little bell. For the current RX, there are 4 powertrains planned for the US market. One is a 2.4 turbo as RX 350. One is a 2.5-liter hybrid as RX 350h. One is 2.4 turbo with hybrid as RX 500h, as the only plug-in hybrid in the family. The RX 450h Plus is a plug-in hybrid with a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated engine and a front and rear drive motor. With a name like 450, we can tell it's not the most powerful in the family. When we pull together the parameters of each powertrain, compare them, we can easily see that the RX 500h has maximum torque and maximum horsepower. It is still the most powerful in the family, which has the most beautiful data. The 450h Plus can only be ranked second. This 2.5-liter plug-in hybrid powertrain, in fact, we are not unfamiliar with it. We first saw it on the RAV4 plug-in hybrid. Later, we've seen this powertrain in the NX 450h Plus. The parameters of NX 450h Plus are listed on different official websites, including 302 horsepower and 304 horsepower. No matter what, you can see it. The powertrain parameters of these 3 models are not much different. Overall, the parameters of the plug-in hybrid are quite different compared to the TX 3.5-liter V6 model. There is no info about RX 450h Plus battery capacity according to the official press release. And on various official websites, there isn't an exact number. There are some figures on various unofficial websites, but our channel does not adopt them. It takes less than 2.5 hours to fully charge the battery with a 240-volt 6.6 kilowatt charger, according to official release. It has a 14.53-gallon fuel tank, which is smaller than those of other trims in RX. According to official number, the RX 450 Plus has a combined energy consumption of 83 mpg, combined fuel consumption is 35 mpg, acceleration time from 0 to 60 mph is 6.2 seconds. Pure electric range on a full charge is 37 miles. Maximum range on a full charge is 540 miles. During this time I drove this car, according to the meter, the maximum pure electric cruising range is about 32 miles with full fuel and full battery. The hybrid's maximum cruising range is around 460 miles. In terms of exterior dimensions, all RX models are the same, no different from other bros. Minimum ground clearance for the RX 450h Plus is 8.7. The same number with 500h and 350 all-wheel drive, slightly shorter than the 350's minimum ground clearance. Suspension is still McPherson in the front and multi-link in the rear. In terms of weight, this RX 450h Plus is arguably the heaviest in the family. It's even 50 pounds heavier than the RX 500h. Before going online, everyone complained that the price of 500h on Model 23 was relatively high. Don't worry, wait a moment. In the 24 model year, it's introduced this plug-in hybrid RX, which takes the price to a whole new level. Currently, the RX 450h Plus only has one basic trim, and the price is also the highest among the RX series, ceiling level price. The one we are looking at today is the one I have been experiencing these days. 2024 model RX 450h Plus, standard with Lexus Safety System Plus 3.0 assistance system, standard with semi-aniline leather seats, head-up display, 14-inch center screen, panoramic sunroof, 235/50R21 wheels, optional advanced park assist with remote control, and technology package. The main thing in it are an electronic key, a rear-view mirror camera, optional hand-free power tailgate and 3-beam LED headlights, optional 21-speaker Mark Levinson stereo. MSRP with shipping fee is $76,415. This car was finally assembled at the Japanese factory. Recently, I've been exposed to these RXs around me and found that even the RX 350, there are also some batches that come off the final assembly line of Japan plant. Frankly speaking, the workmanship of products that come off the assembly line in Japan plant is relatively better than those assembled in Canada plant. You can pay attention to this when purchasing, so the MSRP on this car is over $76,000. If you don't count the price increases and discounts in the market, it's basically going to be close to $80K out the door. $80K bucks for an RX. This is something we could never imagine before. The color of this car is relatively bright. Among the Toyota color versions, there has always been a darker green color. Of course, some friends must like it, but for this color, even if it's pretty, I don't really like it. The entire styling of the car is basically, in general, the same as the other trims of the RX. Unless you can tell it's a plug-in hybrid in a few places, including where the logo is, it's roughly similar. From the front, it's still long and slender, and there's an exaggerated forehead that protrudes from the front of the cabin with large daytime running lights and turn signals. The 3-beam LED light here. With headlight washers underneath, as the latest unified design of the family, the front face and the center grille are integrated into together. No clear boundary between the front face and the center grille. There are a fog lamp and turning fill light in each side. There is no traditional bumper at the front, no the protruding platform. The design of the front lip is not exaggerated at all and looks relatively simple. As you can see, the cabin of the new RX also has 2 locking mechanisms inside. The plug-in hybrid RX's side profile is consistent with the rest of the RX's lineup, and there's not much difference in overall styling. The front cabin looks relatively slender, and the front and passenger cabin have a sense of integration. However, the overall feeling of integration is not that intimate compared to the previous generation product. There is a larger angle fastback style at the back. On this generation model, it can be more enjoyable because TX model has taken on some of the attributes of living, and it could be a little more ethereal. On the side shape of this car, the decoration of chrome bright strips is still the main decorative material. In many places, it is decorated with bright colors. The door handles are not mechanical, but electronic, and the opening angle of the doors is the same as other versions of the RX. Neither the front nor the rear doors look overdone, and the lower edge of the door wraps around the lower edge of the body. You can also see that even at this price point, Lexus is a little conservative with its materials, not so aggressive, not so wild. The front 2 windows are double pane laminated glass, and the rear 2 panes are still single pane. As you can see, at my height, there's no pressure to get on and off the RX without the aid of any pedal mechanism. Actually, for a mid-size, 2-row SUV at this price point, the electric suction door maybe should come out. But Lexus did not equip with it. This car is equipped with 4 21-inch large wheels, which looks very solid. The color of the wheels is just shiny. It's very flashy, and when you look at the car from a distance, the wheels are a real eye-catcher. This car, even though it's the heaviest in the lineup, but the size of the brake discs are the same as all the other trims. Front and rear discs are 1339 diameter vented discs. The diameter of front disc is a little smaller than the RX 500 HR. The styling of the rear end is pretty much the same as the other trims, except for the tail badge, where you can tell what the car is. The rear wing integrated with the high-mounted brake light has an integrated shape, with door frames on both sides. The windshield wipers are hidden under the rear wing, which is very nice. The left and right taillights are the latest in the family's design, and the Lexus logo is in the center. The rear end, there's no protruding bumper platform. Below the traditional bumper position, there's also some overlaying of materials. An exhaust pipe has been placed on the right side, hidden from view, and it's true that it doesn't look good when an exhaust pipe is extended. The key of the family. When you open the trunk, it's not too far from the other versions. There's a light on the tailgate and a light underneath on each side. A 12-volt socket on the left and a button for folding down the second row seats. There's a hook on this side. The hook is solid, a folding hook. There's a subwoofer underneath. There's a folding hook on the right, which is also solid. There's a 120-volt, 1500-watt 3-phase power output. This version does not have a spare tire, but a tire repair kit. There are simple onboard tools and a charger here. Here is the shape after the second row seats folded down. There is no height difference, but a small upward slope. Overall, the configuration is relatively higher than the top-end 350h and 500h we saw before. But the difference is very limited. The overall shape of the center console is consistent with other brothers in the family. It has the iconic stepped design of the Lexus family and has a strong sense of hierarchy. Most of the components of the entire center console are the latest styles of the Toyota series and the latest common parts. In this version, there's still some modest use of anti-fur trim. Inside the iconic stepped center console, there's a ring of ambient lighting buried in it, accented with anti-fur. All 4 windows have one touch up-down. Even in the ceiling level configuration, the exterior rearview mirror on the left is equipped with anti-glare function, but not on the right one. It feels like Toyota is doing it now, just like a newbie in the workplace. Not always possible to learn good things, but you can definitely learn bad things once you see them. There are some buttons and a storage compartment on the center console to the left of the steering wheel, which is in line with the other trims, and as the top of the line, this car also features the family's latest head-up display, dashboard, and steering wheel shortcut buttons. Linked design. The shortcut buttons on the steering wheel also have a one-button dual-purpose function. The adjusted content display needs to be observed through the heads-up display. It is still the same as other trims. The size of the LCD screen inside is not too big. Of course, we also know that this is not the latest style of the Lexus family, the one we saw on the TX model last time. It should be the latest version of the Lexus family. The dashboard of this car is generally the same as the other RX brothers, except that it's a plug-in hybrid and a four-wheel drive model. It's got a few more settings and displays, and the steering wheel on this car is a family favorite. The steering wheel feels great, the leather is very fine, and the car has some wood grain accents on it, and there's also shift paddles on the back of the steering wheel. In the center, there's the driver's attention monitor. The light unit has automatic opening and closing and automatic high beam function. The front wiper has automatic rain sensing function. The eyeglass case on top is very small and shallow, which is consistent with the other versions, and as the top model, the material of the roof is consistent with the other versions. It's that old school fleece material, and of course, at this price point, a suede top doesn't seem out of place. The center screen, along with the air conditioning control panel, is the latest in the family, and this car has several driving modes, including normal, sport mode, eco mode, and customized mode. Seat controls, driving assistance, energy flow display, power distribution of the 4WD system. The new generation of Lexus family products, CarPlay for iPhone and Android phones, can be connected wirelessly, and this car is equipped with a 21-speaker Mark Levinson stereo. The acoustics are still good. Interior 3D surround, exterior 3D surround, reversing camera plus panoramic camera. Wide-angle reversing camera plus panoramic view. Front view plus panoramic view. Front view plus panoramic image. Assisted parking button for panoramic view. On this side, there are two Type-C charger ports, and when the cover is pushed off, there's a USB port and a Type-C port, and the small port is for charging, the large for data interaction. A 12-volt charger socket over here. Underneath is a wireless phone charging pad, and here's a storage compartment. There are many buttons under the gear lever. The button on the right is mainly for switching between hybrid and EV modes. The top is for manual, the bottom is for automatic. Open up the Lexus armrest box to left and right. It's still very roomy inside, with fleece lining around the perimeter and in the backing, but there are no sockets inside. Sitting in, you can see that both the seats and the space are not too different from other versions of the RX, no significant difference. It's just that, as a ceiling class product, it's relatively well equipped. That more highly equipped RX, before we have checked out the RX 350h and the RX 500h. I have to say the configuration is indeed high in the family, but has not yet reached radicalness in this price. If you take this price, if you take this level, given a more aggressive brand to work with, I'm sure the setup would be better. The seats of the RX are very comfortable. In this ceiling level model, the cushions for the driver and passenger are electric adjustment extended. This is very good. The lumbar support has four-way adjustment, and both the driver and passenger have 3 memory functions, which is indeed not very common in the Lexus family. The passenger seat memory button is on the armrest of the door panel. The seat panels, as it tells us, are semi-aniline, leather, with some suede accents, and the panels are very thick to the touch. The material, the top is a soft candy cane material. In there's a portion of anti-fur, a little light strip. Below this is also soft slush molding. Below is also soft slush molding. Here, this is plastic. The soft enamel above the door panels, the suede, the leather, the plastic, and through my observations over time, I found that there are 2 types of plastic above the RX. One is a less configured model, less configured on the RX. It does use harder plastics, pure and simple, while on the 350 Premium or on these higher equipped RX levels, the plastic, it's really the black plastic that has that soft feel on surface. There's a definite difference. Toyota is now playing with black plastic so smoothly and clearly distinguishing it. As you can see, the RX models, both front and rear windows, have a sound deadening treatment when the windows are closed. And of course, this is a very Lexus setting. Where your legs touch, the bottom is plastic, the top is leather, and where your elbows and hands touch, there's very little hard plastic. Look at this position. and on the steering wheel, under the driver's wheel. It's heated in the knees, which is quite user-friendly. I think it'll work for cold legs. Sitting in the second row, it doesn't feel much different from other versions of the RX, but it's still the same comfortable RX second row seats. As you can see, the seats are very wide, very thick, just like a big couch. It's so great. It's just that the second row configuration of this car is still higher. After all, you spent more money. The curtain of the panoramic sunroof opens to this point. There is a curtain on the door panel. The material above the door panel is soft slush molding, suede, and leather. Underneath, it's hard plastic that's not too hard. The rear air conditioning can be controlled separately. These two seats in the back have 3 levels of heated seats and ventilated charger socket with 2 Type-C ports. There's a rise in the center platform. It's not too high. There is also a very considerate plastic pedal on it. This car also has a so-called boss button on the passenger side, which is really not very common in this price range of US market. Center armrest, storage compartment, cup holders. The seats are not adjustable fore and aft. The backrest can be adjusted electrically, and the backrest can be adjusted up to the maximum angle. The 2 reading lamps are here. The car's power feels like our traditional plug-in hybrid dichotomy. Well, first of all, with a relatively full power battery charged, what's happening with this car is that when the power cell is in the first 2-3 of a cell, when this green area on the table is in normal mode, vehicles are basically powered by electric motors, whether you're on local or highway. As long as you're not accelerating too fast, the engine is basically inactive, and at this stage, the vehicle is like a moderate EV. For the power, performance, and ride comfort, you can basically refer to the electric car. After running quickly out of the first 2-3, the power battery of metered power battery capacity. We're entering the blue scale. The vehicle is like a typical hybrid vehicle. At this time, the engine is the main driver, and the motor is just a secondary driver. Only when you're creeping at low speeds or when you're traveling at a constant speed, only the motor can drive the vehicle alone. At this time, the feeling of the familiar 2.5-liter hybrid system is back, which system that I'm sure most of you have experienced with various Toyota products. When accelerating hard, the sound of the engine is still very high-pitched. This is very different from the 2.4T hybrid system of the 500H. The 500H is high-pitched. It's feeling the turbo after engaged. The kind of the turbo squeezes more painfully, and this 2.5 hybrid screams. It's more like the kind of howl that has more heart than power. Overall, it's a smooth car, but you can't say it's violent. Feeling of power in the normal hybrid stage is not as good as that of the 500H, but in the EV part must be greater. After all, it's driven by an electric motor, not same technical route. In normal mode, this car, whether it's in the hybrid or pure electric stage, vehicles are all driven by front-wheel drive alone. Only in rare circumstances, such as turning, some complicated road conditions, a pothole, or accelerate hard. It's the rear wheels that engage the drive more frequently. We're still familiar with the feel of the suspension tuning. An RX with no tech, no air ride, with a heavier body. The overall feeling is still the familiar, comfortable style of RX. The weight of the body feels much heavier than that of the RX 350. In fact, it feels about the same as the 500H I tried last time. The difference between them is only 50 pounds. It's basically not noticeable when driving, but the 500H comes with an F Sport package. It's got adaptive suspension in it. It's going to feel a little bit tougher overall than the suspension on this car. The travel of the suspension on this car feels a little longer than the 500 when you're going over an undulating road at highway speeds. The bodywork will also have a flip and feel that's both familiar and comfortable. You do feel the body of the car is heavier, but it does not have that deceptive feeling, compared with the EV products currently on the market, which often weigh more than 5,000 pounds. This car is still more comfortable. Even when the suspension is lowered, you will not feel the distressed sound of the stressed frame creaking. It's going to feel heavier than the 350, but it's still lighter than a lot of those EVs and plug-in hybrids on the market today. Its quietness is in line with other RXs, and it is relatively good at high-speed driving, except for the occasional wind noise. Or when you step on the accelerator, apart from the roar of the engine, the overall noise control is as good as ever. This is also a selling point of Lexus family vehicles. The steering is comfortable, light at low speeds, stable at high speeds. It's no different than any other brother. The brake feel is decent, and the brakes are quite tight. Once your foot on, it reacts immediately. The same brake system, the heavier body. So when you step on this car, the body will definitely appear heavier than the 350. When driving at high speed, the point where the brakes get hard is about the first 1 to 3 of the brake stroke, and in general, don't feel like they're in any kind of groove. Just that, compared to the 500H brake system, the 500 brake system is more confident. Generally speaking, I still have the same view. If you are hesitant to choose a plug-in hybrid or a hybrid model, the first thing to consider is your budget. If all of these models are within your budget, then we have to ask ourselves a question. Check out if your target plug-in model has enough pure electric range to get you around, and if it does, then you get a plug-in. The motor is the main source of transportation, and for the occasional road trip, the engine ensures that the range is good. Well, if its electric range isn't enough to get you around every day, then you might as well get a regular hybrid, one that's lighter. And the car is cheaper a little bit. The gas tank's bigger, and this car, I've been driving it for a few days now, and I'm getting about 36 mpg combined. So we talk back about this car. Among RX hybrid products, if we compare horizontally, regardless of price, just talking about how it feels to drive and how powerful it is, I personally recommend the 500H. In summary, this is the experience video of this 2024 plug-in hybrid RX 450H Plus. So far, we have gone through the full range with various powertrains of the new RX. If we make a comparison of various powertrains of RX at all price points, to this day, I still think the RX 350 is still the best value for money powertrain for an RX product. And in my mind, at price range of 50-60K is the best range to RX model. So if only chooses among RX and doesn't care about budget. If you're particular about power, I'd say the RX 500H is the most powerful of the RX lineup. If you want a better power performance, maybe the RX 500H is better for you. If only choose from RX model, and you're looking for a plug-in hybrid that's within your budget, well, you might also want to check out this plug-in hybrid RX offering. But for me, I think there's just too much choice in the marketplace for more than $60,000 or $70,000, but of course, it's the same thing. You buy what you like, don't control it. Above video, thank you all.